Liste is a Nagatarga Wonchan. ANC is a good heritage. Erga Winchana, Lomo. Because we have to sustain this organization.
Hello there, guys, and welcome to Daily Updates. The ANC and EFF has convened to discuss the outcome of the elections. This is after they dismally performed at the elections. They find their backs against the wall because now they have to choose which is the better devil to work with. Can we go for the EFF, the MK party, or the DA? Because at this point, if they don't find someone to work with, it is going to be a disaster. Ramaphosa finds himself as the worst president of the ANC who has let them down since 1994. There has never been a leader who lost election like he did. Losing to 40% is something they have never imagined. The introduction of Jacob Zuma will be a nightmare to them. While addressing the press conference, Julius Malema alluded to the fact that he doesn't see a problem working with Cyril Ramaphosa. He can work with the ANC. He's open to working with the ANC, provided they have a good agreement based on their needs.
We want to work with the ANC. If there's any party that we can work with and work properly, is the ANC. Because
they're going to table whatever needs they have, and the ANC also has to come up with their own things so that the agreement can be mutual. Now, the EFF says one of the things that is up there at our list is the expropriation of land without compensation, nationalization of mines, and also a creation of a state bank. Most of these things, the EFF says they should be done within 12 months. Will the ANC really agree with the EFF on what is being put on the table? And when you look at it, even Fikile Mbalula went down to say that they are open to be working with anyone and actually acknowledging the importance of Jacob Zuma.
We knew Zuma would get support, but not this much. To be honest with you, we knew he would get support, but not this much. Our biggest worry based on the last election, and as we do work in KZN, was Inkatha Freedom Party. And also the posture the Royal House has taken in this election.
And also when you look at it, he says that we are not going to be answering essays. We are not going to be writing essays referring to what the EFF has done previously when they were working on a coalition.
If you come to us with terms and all of that, we are not in that game. Given an examination to write again, those things we're not going to do. You remember when we were engaging last time, other political parties gave us an exam to write. If you come to us with that mentality, forget, just go. Just go on your own. We are not afraid to go to the benches.
The EFF wanted the ANC to give them answers on a long essays, which was difficult for Fikile Mbalula and his team to answer. So today he's saying that we are open to working with anyone, provided we are not being given a long essays to answer, meaning that the coalition has to be something where everyone is feeling that I have represented myself fair and I've got a fair share of what we're agreeing on. You look at it, there is a lot of people who have objection to the ANC working with the DA. People like the former minister, Lindiwe Sisulu, she actually says that I did not go to prison so that we can take our votes and give it to the DA. She says that the fact that the DA is saying that black parties cannot govern is very racist. So she feels like giving the votes to the DA, agreeing with the DA, is going to be amounting to treasonous. Now, will Ramaphosa really convince the ANC and EFF to say that we are not forcing you to resign as you perform dismally? Will they let him leave so that he can continue to be the president and they can go to the EFF and say that we can work with you as the EFF? Because on the other hand, the MK says the only way we are going to work with the ANC is if they get rid of Ramaphosa.
Well, when President Zuma made the announcement December 16, he spoke about working with progressive black parties. So that's where we stand. As long as you're wanting land back, nationalization, we're on the same page.
So ANC, are they a progressive black party? Not?
They're not. For as long as they're still run by the ANC Ramaphosa, they're not with us.
And there are people in the ANC NEC who love the MK, who speak with the MK, as Zile said, that we have our own MK members in the ANC NEC. Are those people going to be forcing for Ramaphosa to leave so that the MK, EFF, and ANC can continue as normal? Because at this point, Ramaphosa would not want to leave. If Ramaphosa leave, he's going to be leaving with eggs on his face, because you broke the record of the ANC, the worst president ever in the ANC, who couldn't get over 50%. I do not think Ramaphosa would go that far, would fight that far to go as the worst president. He would want to retain that power and maybe work and govern with the EFF so that at least he can redeem himself. But the question is, how are you going to redeem yourself when the case of Phala Phala is still hanging? Because at this moment, it is going to be continuing in Parliament. They would want to review that so that Ramaphosa can go and answer for all his crimes. Now, are you going to risk yourself, Ramaphosa, to be able to be shamed in Parliament and on the public as the president? Or are you going to leave the scene while it's still warm? Are you not going to wait and be shamed? Because if Ramaphosa waits, it is going to be more complex for him. But if he leaves, they're still going to chase after him. But at least he has something left that he can look at and say that I left willingly. I was not forced. The EFF is allowing itself to work with the ANC because they know that if they don't take the ANC, the other parties working with them is going to be difficult, especially the DA. And on that point, the EFF is actually saying that even the DA, we can work together. The only thing we have to do is sit down, negotiate, and come up with reasonable agreements on what we are going to be working on. The ball is in Ramaphosa's hands. Stay and fight for another day. Jacob Zuma doesn't want to see Ramaphosa staying. He wants to see Ramaphosa being shamed and probably going to jail for his crimes. Is Ramaphosa going to be weak and let him be taken out, or is going to stand his ground? That remains to be seen, because as of now, the only coalition that can work for the ANC is choosing the EFF alone. After choosing the EFF, you go and look for another political party with a small percentage that can cover you to make over 50%. That is where the Patriotic Alliance comes in. And if not the Patriotic Alliance, the Inkatha Freedom Party could be that preferred choice. Because if you merge those three parties, Patriotic or IFP, then you have a governance for all these three parties, which is ANC, EFF, MK, or IFP. And then you avoid the MK party, which, by the way, is still sticking on that fact of saying that the IEC was corrupt. We want to hold it accountable. We are not going to make our presence at the parliament. So if we don't go to parliament, it means they cannot convene without us. We are still pursuing the issue of the IEC. Will the EFF agree to work with the ANC and say that, ANC, let us put MK aside, let us work together and have a smaller party like the Inkatha Freedom Party, where we are going to have an agreement to pursue the needs of black people? Julius Malema says one of the requirements for a coalition is that we make Floyd Shivambu the Minister of Finance. Can the ANC go there and say that we are giving that ministerial position to Floyd and then we want certain positions? Can they really risk giving it to Floyd and continue as normal? Because remember, that is the pace. And some of the ANC members are really gunning for that positions. So it remains to be seen who is going to be getting the upper hand in terms of negotiations. A coalition is never easy. You can have a lot of votes, but at the end, you can be someone who's getting a smaller share. One of their demands would be to say that the president stays with Ramaphosa. We can give the deputy to someone else, but the presidency stays with Ramaphosa. So if the EFF says that Ramaphosa can be a president, but we are getting that finance minister to Floyd Shivambu, maybe the ANC can say that we can compromise that position, which comes with a lot of headache, a lot of work for Floyd Shivambu. And it's going to be a test on whether Floyd can be able to execute the duties of a finance minister. That is where we are going to see if the coalition of EFF and ANC is going to bear fruits for the people of South Africa. And if the EFF goes on to perform well in their duties as a part of the governance, then maybe in the upcoming elections of 2029, the people of South Africa are going to look at the EFF as that party that could be given a lot of chance. The ball is in the ANC's hands, and they have to decide who are we working with, who are we trusting. If they can trust the EFF, then it's easy for them to chuck out the MK party and the DA, because no one in the black communities, no one in the freedom fighter struggle fighting, anyone, there is no one who wants to see ANC merging with the DA, because they believe that once you go with the DA, you are spitting on the graves of those who fought for this freedom that we are enjoying. Can Ramaphosa listen to the people of South Africa and not go through that route? Because at this point, it is not his decision alone. Is it going to be something that we are going to be regretting, the coalition of these political parties? Or are we going to see it as a blessing for the communities and the people of South Africa? That we remain to see. Will Ramaphosa continue as the president of South Africa? It seems highly unlikely, but possibilities are there. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into the channel, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.